Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. Today we're going to do several recipes. I have my sister Kelly with me. Do you think we look alike?
Yeah, I mean, I think we resemble
I think as we
each
get
other.
older, we look more alike than people used to think we were twins. That always threw me because I never saw that. But anyway, we are going to start with making donuts, and this recipe comes from Kelly's mother-in-law. Essie used to make donuts and have it with hot apple cider or just apple cider?
Just apple cider.
And so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with, we need some, well, actually we took 3/4 cup of milk and scalded that and added to it half a cup of sugar, half a cup of shortening, and a teaspoon of salt. And you need to scald the milk because otherwise the enzymes won't let the yeast activate. So that's why we did that ahead of time. So now we need warm water. And how much? Half cup? Fourth of a cup. And you don't want the water to be hot because it will kill the yeast, but if it's not warm enough, the yeast won't activate. Okay, fourth cup.
Whoop.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, she's going to put this in her bowl, or actually she's going to dissolve 1 package of yeast, which is equal to about a tablespoon if you buy it like I do in bulk.
I think we're gonna, is that one open?
That's opened, yeah.
Assistant.
Okay, so we're gonna just lightly stir that up and dissolve it.
I always hate doing this because I'm afraid I have the water too hot or too cold.
I know. It was funny when I used to teach, the kids didn't ever trust them that they wouldn't have it too hot or too cold or whatever, so I always would do it myself. So we're going to go ahead and add that. Our pan is cooled. Add that in here. You can use that. Will the wooden spoon work or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe.
And we're going to put this in about a 2-quart bowl. That way we don't have to dirty up a whole bunch more stuff. And so as soon as she gets that mixed up a little bit, she's going to add it into that bowl. And then she's going to stir in 2 cups of flour that we pre-measured. She just wants to stir that up to make a soft dough, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and break 3 eggs and lightly beat those so they're ready for you.
So do you think that has to be?
I don't think so. I think once you do your flour.
2 cups of flour. I know some stuff says to add a little at a time, and I never can do that. I'm too much of in a hurry, so I just... I almost like the dough better than the donuts.
It really?
Yes.
I shouldn't have said it that way because I like raw bread dough too. So, well, and up to this point, it's fine. So I've lightly beaten 3 eggs, and she's gonna mix that in. And on the recipe, it says 3 to 4 cups of flour because the next additions of flour come until you just make a stiffer dough.
That's a big spoon.
You don't like my big spoon? Oh.
That's a soft dough?
Yeah. I was telling Kelly I like to look up the history, just as much, a little at a time. It'll probably take at least 3 or 4 of those, but I like to look up the history of foods. Of course, that may come from the fact that I used to teach some history too, but donuts, we were looking, and I was looking, and it said that they were always just one solid dough ball until they decided they were tired of the centers being too gooey. So on board a merchant ship, they decided they would cut the hole in the middle, and that's where donut holes came from. So guess that makes sense, because I've done that before where the inside isn't cooked enough. So once this becomes a stiff dough, after adding whatever amount of flour it takes of that 3 or 4 cups, we're going to cover this and set it aside and let it rise until it reaches the top of the pan. So it'll about double, which could take up to an hour.
So stiff dough, how do you?
So you could almost handle it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it should be able to, the stiffer dough be able to handle. Okay. We'll come back when it is doubled in size. Okay, so our donut dough has risen, and we rolled it out to about a 1/2 inch thick. And now Kelly's using our donut cutters to cut these out. We're going to put them on some parchment and let that rise. Make sure you leave room between, because they'll rise up and be bigger.
We hope.
Yeah, we hope they'll rise up and be bigger. Anyway, so then we're going to let that rise until they about double, not quite double. And then we will deep fat fry those and ice them, and we will have homemade donuts. Okay, so we've got our oil heating. In fact, it's hot enough. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. Our donuts have risen, and they don't have to be perfect. They're still going to taste wonderful. I mean, the shape of them. Yeah. We've mixed up, it's a combination. It'll be posted, but it's a combination of cornstarch, powdered sugar, butter, and warm water. Or if you'd rather just when they're hot and they come out, roll them in cinnamon sugar, you can do that. And so we have a pan with some parchment on it that's ready for the donuts. So we're going to lay those donuts in the hot oil. Don't burn yourself. And you're just going to fry them until they're golden.
Yeah.
And then flip them. The donut holes are a lot easier to pick up.
I know, I'm afraid to pick up the...
Well, just do the donut holes first.
I'm afraid to pick up the donut. I guess it won't hurt it any.
No. It looks good. Okay, and you have this spatula, or you can use the tongs if you'd rather to flip them. And you ice them right as soon as they come out, right?
Yeah.
Put them on the parchment and ice them.
How brown do you think?
I think those look right, but
get over there.
It's like fishing. Yeah.
Not too good.
You're supposed to lay them on the parchment, not shoot it across the kitchen.
I think I'm burning them.
You can turn it down a little bit if you want to.
Am I going the right?
Okay.
Nope,
So we'll just keep this process and dip them in the icing or the sugar mixture, and then we'll show you what they look like done. Good morning and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am going to make a cake this morning that my husband and I really like. I've made this cake since we were first married, and we've been married, it'll soon be 45 years. So I've been making it for a long time. Anyway, before I get started though, I want to encourage you or ask you, whatever, to make sure you subscribe to our channel. We post new recipes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I just don't want you to miss out on those. So go ahead and subscribe, follow us on Facebook, all of those things. But Williamsburg Orange Cake is on the agenda for today. I'm preheating my oven to 350, and I have sprayed my bundt pan that we're going to use. And I'm going to mix my dry ingredients, then my wet ingredients. And So I'll get started with that in just a second. I've also got the stuff out for the icing that goes over this. So I've got some powdered sugar, some butter, some orange juice, and the zest of half an orange. That goes in the icing. In the cake, I have flour and sugar and baking soda and salt. And then my wet ingredients, I have 3 eggs, some vanilla, some shortening and butter both, some buttermilk, and some more orange zest. So those are the things you're going to need for this particular cake. It's kind of hard for me to stand. I did a crazy thing a couple days ago. I went to one of my granddaughter's volleyball games, and I was going in, it was raining. I was going in and I didn't see the mud on the sidewalk. It was probably about an inch thick. And I had sandals on, of all things, and down I went. So I'm kind of gimpy this morning, and it's kind of difficult to straighten my leg out. So bear with me. So wet ingredients, Williamsburg Orange Cake. It's going to take 40 to 50 minutes to bake. Then you need to cool it. Then you need to ice it. So I have 2.5 cups of flour. I'm going to add to that 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And I'm going to put in some soda, 1.5 teaspoons of soda, baking soda, and then I need 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And those are my dry ingredients that I'm going to mix, and then I'm going to set this aside and work on the wet ingredients. This bowl, or the dry ingredients, you don't need a very big bowl because that's all that's going to go in this, and then you're going to mix this into the wet ingredients when you have them combined. So the bigger bowl needs to be for the wet ingredients. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and in this bowl I'm going to mix those wet ingredients. So I have my buttermilk. I have 1.5 cups of buttermilk. I'm going to put in 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter that's softened to room temperature. And I'm going to put in, here's my spatula, I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of shortening. This is Crisco. And the zest of half an orange. I keep wanting to say lemon, but it's not a lemon. I need my vanilla, and I need 1.5 teaspoons. And this is, even though it's in a different bottle, it's my homemade vanilla. And then I need 3 eggs. Okay, so I'm going to use my mixer and mix those up until they're well combined. And then I'm going to start gradually adding the dry ingredients. Once they're incorporated, I need to beat this on high for 3 minutes. So this is going to be loud, but here we go. Okay, I'm going to start adding those dry ingredients just a little at a time. This is my So I'll probably do it in about thirds, if that helps to kind of get a... These incorporated. I'm going to go ahead and beat this for 3 minutes, and I will come back at that point. 3 minutes of mixing my cake mix on high, and now I'm ready to pour this into my sprayed bundt pan, and I'm going to put it in my 350-degree oven, and I want to bake it for about missed. I want to bake it for 40 minutes, really until, it'll take 40 to 50 minutes, but it's really until a toothpick comes out clean. And then I'm going to let it cool for 15 minutes before I try to remove it from the bundt pan, and let it cool completely, and then I will make the icing and ice it. Okay, our Williamsburg orange cake has baked. It cooled for 15 minutes in the bundt pan. Then I took it out and put it on my cake plate. Now I'm going to make the icing that goes over this, and it's cool enough to ice. So I've got 1.5 cups of soft butter at room temperature here in my pan or bowl. I'm going to add to that, there's 5 tablespoons of orange juice. And I have a tablespoon of orange zest. And then I'm going to add in 4 cups of powdered sugar. I'm going to mix this just a little bit first, though. Okay, so the butter and the juice and the zest are creamed together. I'm going to put part of my powdered sugar in and mix on low until all of it is in. The last of it in there. Okay, I am ready to get the icing off my fingers, and then go ahead and ice my cake. And there's plenty of icing here to do all around the cake and down the sides. It's not like a drizzle. So if you're looking for just something a little different, like I said, we've made this cake for a long time, but it's just something different, and especially into the fall, and it just gives you another option. Instead of everything pumpkin, you could do a Williamsburg orange cake. So I'll finish icing this, and then I will show you the finished product. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.